feel to you? Fuck you.
The regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to
I
others.
saw her face.
What's that like to live deliciously?
Greetings, friends. Welcome back to the Messed Up Movies Podcast, New Movie Monday. We're here today to talk about Shelby Oaks, the first directorial debut of one Chris Stuckmann of internet fame. You may remember him if you go back in our catalog and listen to our Empty Man episode with Josh Lobo and Chris Stuckmann. It was nice to see him finally get a swing. What's up? I'm your host, Griffey, joined as always by friends and co-host Sam and Heath. So before we get started today, a little bit of business, everyone. Please make sure you go to Indiegogo, type in Mr. Cream Jeans because of the unfortunate shadow ban. Make sure you pledge there to help support our first movie, and you can get the perk where you can join the pod. You can talk about any movie you want, new or old, or you can do a film festival draft versus me, Sam, Heath, Sophia Dandino, whoever you want. You got it. Bring it on. Also, make sure you go to the Misfit Parade YouTube, subscribe there. Make sure you leave 5-star ratings and reviews. What other stuff do we have? We have lots of business normally.
You give us money.
Give us money. That would be
it's
huge. All right, that's it, man. We're fried. We had a huge shoot last week. So here at Misfit Parade, last week we filmed the wraparound segment for Mr. Cream Jeans Hidey Hole. That was a whole week. I think our brains are still a little mush. So we're happy to be back in the podcast studio. Much easier than the filming we just did. How are you feeling, guys? How are you feeling about Mr. Cream Jeans?
I'm feeling fairly exhausted myself. I didn't have to do nearly as much as you, Griffey. Griffey nailed it. He became Mr. Cream Jeans.
There you go. Yeah,
And
I became.
I don't know how he did it.
Just being a pervert for most of my life was really the greatest.
I'm just talking about being on your feet for like 16 hours.
Oh, yeah, in my lesbian boots. Yeah, that was
The
tough.
actual
Keith, how are you
physicality.
feeling after our shoot of Mr.
I'm
Cream
feeling rested now. Just got the footage back from Sam, so he's backed up, made copy after copy after copy, so that all of our efforts aren't gone to waste in case some disaster strikes, which is often the case.
Back your footage up, kids.
Yeah.
Important rule.
So excited to dive in and see what we got.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I don't know. I was feeling a little nostalgic this week, right? We've been doing Misfit Parade now for a couple years. This was our first film. And most of us, I know for me, it was when I saw Jurassic Park. We had kind of talked about the moments. We all knew we wanted to make films, right? Mm-hmm. And as is often the case, right? We went through long years of tribulations, attempts. You come up short, you fall, you don't get there. Deals evaporate at the last minute, right? It was really nostalgic, right? I know you were emotional on set. I was emotional. I've had kind of the post-shoot blues. Yeah. Right? Thinking about like, wow, we're almost done with the first movie. I feel like it'll never be more magical than that. That's something I took into watching Shelby Oaks, right? Because I met Stuckmann before. Wonderful guy. Like, absolutely as nice as advertised. We got to talk about a movie, right? Seeing him go from guy who loved movies so much, he made a very popular, massive YouTube brand talking about movies, right? To taking the leap to getting to make his first movie. I couldn't help but romanticize this a little bit.
Can you go over that a little bit? Because I'm not super familiar with him. What was his YouTube channel?
He just had a massive channel. I think he was at like 2.5 million subscribers.
Was it movie reviews, kind of like what we're doing?
Just like movie reviews, yeah. Like what we're doing,
It's
but
very
with a
much
huge
similar.
audience. Yeah. His were more made for YouTube videos, not like a podcast like this. Okay. But yeah, just really nice guy. And I felt really just happy for him, man. Like, it really made my heart happy. I think being a critic, and even this podcast, right, when you're talking about movies, it's one thing. I think it's such a different leap to hop in and actually make a fucking movie. Yeah. There's something about it that's indescribable, and I was just really happy that he got to do that.
And I think the lore on this is he leveraged his YouTube audience for sure to get this movie off the ground. And I believe he broke the record for the most money fundraised on Kickstarter at the time. Somewhere around, he crossed the $1 million threshold for a film. There are lots of things that get funded on Kickstarter, but I think for a movie, that was, at the time, the record. I don't know. It might still stand.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you throw in Mike Flanagan as kind of this overarching producer voice, and that's a good recipe to start a movie.
Well, I think the real producer that deserves credit is Aaron Kuntz and
Yes.
Cameron Burns.
Fellow Hoosier, represent
Paper
Aaron
Street,
B. Kuntz.
yeah, Paper Street Pictures. They came in early, shepherded this. It was cool to see. They've done a lot of movies, but it's still like it's a point of pride, I think, that they come from origins where we're starting now, and so we kind of look up to those guys to maybe get to that point as well. So it was very cool to see their banner pop up early in the film. So then the movie went off, was showcased at a few film festivals. More people came in. I know Neon picked it up. They injected a little bit more money in to just tighten up.
Did some
details.
reshoots, right?
Yeah, reshoots.
Yeah, I think reshoots and there's an article that details what the difference is. I think it might be on Bloody Disgusting. I haven't looked at it because I wanted to see the film first. But if you're curious about what another $1 million can get you, I think you just Google
astronomical figures we can't even fathom. We did spend a lot on dildos, but not $1 million. So here we go. Here's the basic intro, right? Directed by Chris Stuckmann. He was one of the writers as well, maybe the only writer. Who took Riley Brennan? A woman's obsessive search for her missing sister leads her into a terrifying mystery at the hands of an unknown evil. Ooh. So the movie essentially starts out with this early YouTube channel, right? Because a lot of people are billing this as Blair Witch mixed with Hereditary, right? So it starts with these early YouTubers called the Paranormal Paranoids. They're out hunting down all these mysteries, right? They have this one mystery that hits a little too close to home that's in a jail, which we find out is literally a fucking golf ball drive away from the amusement park in Shelby Oaks, right? She sees something in that jail cell. The commenters are thinking it's fake. As the kids would say, it's Cap. Right? And they think it's Cap, right? That she's an actress. She wanted to be an actress first. We see her stage play. They go to Shelby Oaks, right? There's this video of her in the house, and she's talking. She's scared. There's a little, that digital fragmentation, right, on the video. Next thing you know, they disappear. There's kind of a white guy in the background. No one knows what happens. There's a huge media frenzy that thinks that this is all a publicity stunt. The movie then kicks in with her sister, right? They're kind of doing an interview documentary about what happened to them years after they actually went missing. And everyone realized it was not Cap.
It's sort of like if Blair Witch sequel started off as a documentary of what happened to these people.
The Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows took a very avant-garde approach.
Yes, it did.
They're like, what if this was more like a Mudvayne music video? This would have been a better approach for Blair Witch 2.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought
no. It was just that is kind of how I was in that headspace. Like, this is like if Blair Witch had a proper sequel. This is maybe how they would set it up.
Yeah. So we go and we interview. Right. So usually when I lean my head back to chortle, I think one of you guys are going to come in. Right? Like a great point guard, I'm lobbing it up for you to then take it.
Well, okay. To that point, though. To that point, did you think it was just going to be a mockumentary?
So this was one of the things that I was very caught off guard by the film, right? I thought this was going to be more of a found footage archival movie, kind of like Hell House 1 was, right? It was people being interviewed about, the Abaddon Hotel in the aftermath of what happened that Halloween night. But it's a lot of that kind of found footagey stuff. Right. I was not prepared for how little found footage was actually in this movie. It really went full narrative for most of the movie.
I think it's probably 15 minutes. I don't know. I wasn't clocking it.
Yeah.
From the time the movie opens to the time we get to the title card, and then it becomes a movie.
Yeah, it's the opening, and then when she gets the tape from the guy, because that's kind of the kickoff of the movie, right? She's being interviewed. There's a knock at the door between setups, right? And this guy's at the door. He's like, she finally let me go.
Yeah.
And he shoots himself. Like It's a very, whoa. It was one of those moments in theater where what the fuck just happened?
Very jarring.
Yeah, and then the cops are there, ambulance, and from that moment, it kind of drifts into full narrative.
Yeah.
Right? That's the moment where it's like, oh shit, I didn't know the movie was going to do this. She finds a mini DV tape in his bloody hands, takes it, then we see what happened to the paranormal paranoids. Right. And then the rest of the movie is a full narrative of her tracking down her sister, right? Because she doesn't believe the cops will do anything at this point.
Right. Yeah. I do want to say one thing about that little opening segment of the found footage faux documentary. They did a really great job, in my opinion, of recreating that archival news tape. I saw Begonia right after this, and they have also a fake CNN anchor reading. I don't know why movies can't ever get that right.
Yeah.
I think it's partly because you'd think that So I've worked in news most of my career. You would think that that it would just be another story, right? Like whether it's fictional or not, you just read the teleprompter. These news anchors are such terrible actors.
Yeah.
They cannot deliver even a fake news report.
Are you talking about in Begonia or in this?
In most movies. In most movies. And I
yeah.
felt like there's a little bit of that in this one. But for the most part, I thought they did a really convincing job of recreating what that kind of news story would have been like, how it would have been covered,
Right.
how it would have looked. And it would have been like, what, circa 2008, I think is when this...
So let me stop on this point. I think for a lot of audiences, and I've been wondering this myself the week since I've seen it, do you actually wish, Sam, that they had stayed more with the found footage?
So I was actually, yeah. So, Heath, I believe you missed it, but what was the one we just saw that was all...
So we watched...
Well, it's not even... So this is different
We watched
for me.
Strange Harvest, which
So,
was like archival
When I think of
interviews.
found
Yeah.
footage, I think of Blair Witch, right? You're actually just watching.
Right, we just covered The Man with the Black Umbrella, which
Yeah.
is very similar in story.
That
to
is
this
literally found footage, because it's just this guy's camcorder, right? So Blair Witch, this one I feel like is a mockumentary, right? Or it starts off as that.
That's the thing. I think they're using the found footage tag to tap into the huge found
Well,
footage audience.
So that was...
I would argue this is... I mean,
It's nothing, yeah.
it's like calling Henry
it's-
Portrait of a
yeah.
Serial Killer found footage because there's
it's-
that one scene where the tripod knocks over.
But was it marketed as found footage?
To me, it was. When
It
I
was?
went into the movie, I thought this was going to be all found footage.
See, I didn't get that from the trailer.
It seemed
at all.
like... So when I first saw this trailer... So it seems like it's trying to be three different things. It's trying to be found footage. It's trying to be a documentary of a fake serial killer. Or a fake missing person. And it's also trying to be a narrative script. So it's like trying to be three different things at once. When I saw the trailer, I thought that this originally was the trailer for Hell House Lineage, the new one. I thought that it's what it seemed like to me. It's like a literal break from the found footage into a narrative story.
I mean, I think those two play a little similar. Sorry, I won't put my milky white thighs up for the camera. I was warned. But again, I think I was expecting this. I thought they were going to do a Hereditary style story, but it was going to be all found footage. There's a small part of me that when it started with the found footage, I was really vibing it. I was like, hell yeah, dude, this is going to be great.
The opening was amazing.
I do think you lose some energy
Yeah.
when you go to the narrative filmmaking. And this is a movie, and I think one of the things I think Stuckmann did so well, he's really kind of sure-handed with it. He's not overly trying to give us jump scares and freak us out. He's really letting us sit in the slow burn of this unfurling evidence, right? But there are just moments like the hellhounds just don't work for me a ton. And the dogs become like a very key part. Like they're involved in like 6 scares. The demon or the incubus, fucking great. The old lady in the house, great. But there were some of those moments that I was like, that little extra kind of breath in the camera, that little bit more chaotic nature to it, I think would have added some energy and kind of softened up some of that CG dog stuff. Like it still was fine and it worked. I'll tell you this. We left the theater and my son Hunter, who goes to all the movies with us, he goes, that was so scary. He's like, I had to watch the last half of the movie. He was doing the Dracula where he was like covering his eyes and looking. He was fucking terrified.
That's the thing is, man, they did a very good job of getting all the beats right. Like everything was like almost picture perfect to what you would think a found footage / narrative horror movie. Like everything was like technically right, but it just felt like something was missing.
Well, I think the thing is when you go from found footage and you go into this, we're going to go to this real procedural slow burn phase.
Yeah.
I think there's just an energy void that starts to arise in that like 15 to 40 minute phase. And then I think once she gets to the jail, right, the end of the movie is kind of a roller coaster where it starts really taking off.
Yeah.
But I feel like that energy dip,
The middle section
could have been helped with some found footage. It just makes it feel more lively.
Yeah.
Because it's weird to start found footage and then go into something that, by its nature, a narrative film always feels more staged.
and it's
Right?
so
And there's
it's so
something
much
about
harder.
that. I think those energies just didn't mesh at the start of the film.
It's harder to create like so. What the benefit? One of the benefits I feel like with found footage is you can get that intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
You can get like all of the things that make it seem real, and it takes you out of the idea that you're in a movie theater watching a movie and you're just in the story.
Right. That's
And I
what
feel
my
like
son
as
Sunter
soon as you
says.
come out of that,
Yeah, he loves found footage because it feels real to
right.
him.
And but then as soon as you come out of that, you're like, oh, I'm watching a movie, and then I have to. you almost have to start over again.
Yes, you
And
have
you're,
to.
you're building the
rewire-
character.
And that's exactly what happened to me because I thought this was going to be like a found footage Hell House mockumentary thing. Not mockumentary, whatever that is, a fake documentary.
Yeah, fake documentary.
Once it gets into the now we're doing a movie, it felt like the artifice of the movie was harder for me to get over, right? When she's in the baby room and the husband's like, you need help. Like those scenes that I think were delivered well.
Yeah.
But to me, it felt more inauthentic because I had just had this heavy dose of found footage.
For me, the issue is that the exposition was just too long. We spent too much time in the faux documentary. I thought it was effective. I was relieved that we got to movie stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because I was kind of
You were?
yeah, I don't want to see a fake documentary. That's boring. Like sometimes real documentaries are enough of a slog.
See, I kind of like the fake doc. Like,
See, I like it too, dude.
what
I
was the
love
one we just watched? I was trying to think of it.
Strange Harvest.
Strange Harvest, yes.
And I loved Hell House. I think it's a really effective tool for an indie movie, right? This obviously has way more
Yeah,
resources.
I kind of
wanted.
wanted. I wanted the opposite. I wanted more of that. I wanted to know more about those characters.
See, the acting never gets there for me because it feels like a performance. It
But
doesn't.
I think that's the thing that found footage helps you assuage.
Yeah.
Is that you forgive people for having
They're not acting.
off-kilter
Yeah,
performances
these are real
because
people.
act insane.
I'm talking about the interview segments.
Right.
Fake documentary interview segments.
So you thought the acting and everything got better once they cut into movie stuff?
Yes, when it becomes an actual narrative film.
Interesting, man.
Yeah. I wish they would have trimmed that down. I liked it as a device, especially kind of meta cool that Stuckmann's familiar with the YouTube space and he's using that as a jumping off point. I really liked the transition, how they went from the faux documentary to the actual narrative version of it. Because while she's doing the interview, the guy comes to the door and then we break out of the documentary camera and we see the crew and the movie starts where the slow motion.
That was a good scene. That's like a
Dude,
shot.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
When that guy shot, because you're like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I remember that was like one of the, maybe a handful of times in the last couple years where I literally was like, whoa, like,
Well,
what?
and then you slowly
'Cause it's
start
such
to
like
you start to learn more about this guy.
Yeah, you think it's like, okay, now we're learning the basics, this and that, and there's this real fucking punch in the face moment early.
Now that you say that, you loved that moment in Dangerous Animals, is that it? Where he stabs the guy right at the beginning and throws him off the boat.
Yeah.
That was, we needed to be about that long. That was like 10 minutes tops.
Well, there's a lot of, because this is kind of the new horror setup, right? When you're writing a horror script, you always start with a cold open, right? Which is a small scene that in microcosm is going to tell you the horror film you're about to watch.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of them, they don't always serve that purpose to me. They're giving me flavor, but there's not that boom, right? It's got to be like a balloon pop, like credits. Like now you're ready for you're like, oh shit, I'm going to have more of those scenes. I thought this moment really caught me off guard and delivered because I thought we were just in the middle of the first act and then boom.
So maybe that is a credit then to the way they did it because they've lulled you into thinking, okay, this is the aesthetic.
I think so. I think whatever that kind of pacing was, because I agree with you, it probably should have been a little shorter, whatever, right? You could make that argument. I think something about giving it that little extra breath where you feel like, oh, we're like 10 minutes in. This is the movie.
Yeah.
It is like this extra inciting incident that really snapped me to attention.
It raises the stakes for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then she's like, well, I'm going to go on this mission. I've stolen evidence.
Well, and
all
then
this stuff.
And it also gets us on her side because then now she has this item that no one else knows about. She knows what's really going on. She knows that this demon's real. She starts piecing it together that maybe all of this isn't bullshit, but in her mind, she's a great actor actually, because in her mind it seems like she knows that she seems crazy.
Yeah.
So she doesn't tell anybody.
And then her husband, who's graduated from stealing records at Empire Records, right? He's just like, you need help. He's not supportive at all.
He's not supportive.
I don't want to be in the documentary.
Good old Warren.
Yeah, right.
Warren.
He's like, Warren, I don't want to be in the documentary. I don't want to talk about your crazy stuff. I want to pump you full of semen and make babies. You're ruining my day. So there is this kind of and then the system's kind of betraying her. You just have this you do have this
You end up
overwhelming
liking her,
compunction to want her
even
to
though they
find
never
something.
really expand her character at all. I felt like
see, again, I think this is another thing. I think a lot of people get caught in this. I want characters to be this deep, fully exposed person, right? What I think you see in this woman is that she's been caught in this grief cycle, right? And there's something horrible about not having an answer. And she's probably getting hit up by, news crews every so often. She's doing this documentary, so she's reliving this trauma. And the moment
got
the
a
guy
famous
does
sister.
that, he fucking zips the body bag on her. Yeah. Her person essentially stops and is dead in its tracks until she finds something that answers this thing that's been plaguing her forever.
Well, and she's given the tape. It's
Yeah.
right in her hands. So, of course, she's going to go down that rabbit hole
Well,
now that she has this.
I get why she's important in the story because she gets the tape. But I think if you're writing the script, this is a little critique on it. Like, if there's a reason why the demon needs her to be the one. Like, otherwise he could just have Riley raise the child. Like, there's a reason why he needs her to do it, and it's never explained.
Sam is skipping far ahead.
Yeah,
Into
I
spoiler
mean,
territory here.
I guess I
Spoilers.
think this is the weird. You always have these Christian people. Like my kids are now getting taken to church by my mother-in-law all the time, and they're starting to drop those like Christianisms on me.
Yeah.
Right, where it's like, God works in mysterious ways, and I was like, yeah, like childhood cancer, and they're like, I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. And so I do this all the time with her. I think you can give the devil that same grace. They work in mysterious ways. I will say when she saw
What I would
the
like
tape,
to know is what I'm saying.
when she saw
as
the
a fan,
tape
or
of
as a
dogs
watcher.
murdering all of the paranormal paranoids, she should have gone on Amazon, and they have these things now that look like flashlights, and you just shoot them at dogs, and it makes this sound that they hate, and they run away.
What?
I don't know if that works on devil dogs.
On demon?
I bought one to shoot at my neighbor's dog 'cause it barks all the time, and it's fucking wonderful.
dude.
Oh, you did buy it?
Yeah, it's on its way.
By the way,
Fred told me on the Shoot 'em Mr. Cream
I
Jeans.
know.
He's like, oh yeah, dude, my dad's got one. It shoots like 90 feet. And I was like, hell yeah, dude. It's like, I'm getting on Amazon right now.
does it work on like deer and
Yeah,
stuff?
I needed to make sure I had to count out the range to my neighbor's window
Jesus.
so I could blast the dog through their window. Is that a crime? I hope not.
I feel like that's just mean, isn't it?
No, my neighbors will thank me because their dog won't fucking bark all day. I live next to a hellhound.
All right, man.
He just doesn't have the eyes from this one.
All right, well, I personally like the hellhounds. I got
You like
into,
the dogs.
I mean, I thought they were pretty cool. I thought the idea of the dog,
Here's the thing. I
maybe
think-
not the CGI, but the idea was cool.
Right. But I think the fact that the dogs are like the star in like 7 or 8 scare moments,
Yeah.
it was a little overused when you had Derek Mears as this fucking
I know.
incredible incubus.
Well-
And again, it's like we've seen so many of these like occult, demon movies. The dogs at a certain point, I'm like, the dogs are just not cool enough to be in like 10 fucking important scenes. And I know it's part of the mythology, the Hounds of Hell and all that. We needed a couple other moments. Like when that old lady comes in and starts, turning, you're like, that's exactly what this movie needs. It needs some other force to add the scares. Because to me, every time the dogs came in, and it could just be the CG thing or the fact that it's gone narrative, I just kind of checked out. I was just like, the dogs again?
We spent a long time in the woods, like getting to, like through the prison or whatever. It felt like there was almost an hour of movie of just kind of her unearthing this and that.
The investigation.
And the investigation just didn't turn over any like unique twists. It didn't pull me. It didn't inspire any additional questions for me.
Well, that's the thing, because it's all shit we'd already seen and we already knew. And then all out of nowhere, it's like this Dogus ex machina who just is like, hey, now we don't just bite people's face off. Follow me to this lady shanty. Mm-hmm. And you're like, all right, now we're fucking... Because that's the thing, there was this gap in the middle where I was kind of losing interest a little bit.
Yeah.
And the dogs were okay, and the scares felt very formulaic to me. Not bad, right? They delivered exactly what you want.
Very
But
polished.
there wasn't any like pop to it. There wasn't those moments like that opening kill. When we get to the lady's house in the woods, because again, everything in that section, we know all the answers, right? We just learn about this guy in the prison riot, and who was it? Who was the fucking guy they brought in? Keith David. Fucking crushed that scene. It was great. But then until we get to that house, that's when the movie started up for me, because we had a
But by that
not
point,
dog monster, and we start getting answers.
but we're almost at the end by that point.
That's fine. I'm okay with the slow burn horror movie. I just think there were some moments there where that's where I was doing the should this have been found footage?
Right.
Is there any other demonic shit we can do except for dogs? Like, what's the fucking thing that's going to sink your teeth into me? I started to waffle, and I was like, oh, man, I don't know if this movie's going to do it for me. When they got to the house, I thought how long do you think that ending was? 25 minutes?
Yeah, it might have been a half hour.
Half hour. I love everything from the moment she got to that lady's house to the end. I was like, totally saved the movie and made the kind of slow, drawn out procedural. I think it actually added some hype to the end because we had been in kind of this slow, like she's walking through stages of grief that we already know.
Yeah.
Because we saw the tapes. We know what's going to happen. Right?
Honestly, that's probably the part Neon paid for, I'm guessing.
I don't know. I haven't read the article.
Because that looked dope. And when the demon walked up behind her and put his arm on her shoulder.
Holy shit.
Like, the whole ending, I agree with you. The ending kind of, like, what I was a little bit disappointed heading up to that, and the ending did save it a bit.
Yeah. Oh, I thought the ending was incredible. Like, it was such a set. And again, I think most movies, as long as you pay it off in a satisfactory way, you forgive a lot of things. And when the movie ended, I was like, they fucking paid it off, right? Like, it wasn't a flawless, like, step by step, like, wow, I'm just fucking.
I definitely wanted to know
my
more.
Seat, but that ending was so fucking bombastic, right? And when the old lady, right, you see it's his mom, and she's kind of talking all weird, and there's a fucking floor under the basement. She's like, follow me.
Yeah.
Like, she's not scared of this lady at all. She took the fucking cheese knife, and you're like, oh shit, Chekhov's cheese knife. She wasn't afraid at all. And then her sister down there, I guess she had like Eminem hair when she was younger, because now she's like dark brown hair, right? She looks like a raggedy cave person, right? She looks like a worse version of Newt in Aliens.
Well, she had been in there for 15 years.
Yeah.
Right, but I was like, she was blonde her whole life. We saw her childhood videos. Now she's just like...
I was going to say, she actually looked pretty good for being in there for 15 years.
She was still doing crunches and shit?
Yeah.
I was like,
she
how
looked
many...
like she was in shape,
she had
well
had
fed.
at least, 5 babies? And I was like, she's still in
Dude,
shape.
yeah.
She's still keeping it.
Still obviously getting a haircut, you know? She's doing great.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just dirt on her hair. But I thought that was a really effective scene, too, when she comes in and she's like, Riley, I'm here to save you. And she doesn't even know where the fuck she's at. You never know what's going to come up behind her, because we know the old lady's down there.
Right.
I thought it was all very effective. And again, I think the thing that Stuckmann did in this ending that worked so well for me, he didn't go for the cheap, low-hanging fruit moments. Like, you expect the lady to jump out and attack her and this and that. But the lady, because she's working as an agent of the supernatural force, she's unfazed. It's just letting them walk through this inevitable plot that's already been playing out that I thought was really effective, right? The fact the lady's not there.
It's almost
They
more
run upstairs,
terrifying.
and she's there with the demon, and the door closes.
She's not reacting at all. She's just, you know.
That's what I mean.
You can go about your business.
Yeah, go get your sister, dude.
It's all been pre-planned. You know,
yes,
it doesn't
and
matter.
she gave up her son, if that even was her son. It was just really effective, because that's the point in the movie where the dread just really became oversaturated, where you were just like, what is going to happen in this story? And even though it ended in a place I think you probably can start to see coming, I thought it was just so effective. I was enjoying my time in the theater.
I liked it. Look, Stuckmann, this is a really great showcase for him as a director, I felt like. Now, I could see a lot of his influences. I mean, that whole sequence with going down into the basement, that was ripped right out of that scene in Zodiac, where Jake Gyllenhaal goes to investigate, and the creepy guy who's the projectionist.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see that it was cribbed almost shot for shot, but he did it well. Yeah. And the other movie that I was kind of vibing during that whole sequence too was House of the Devil.
Yeah.
I felt like there was a lot of that. But
see, House of the Devil was like that too. It's kind of this slow rollout. And then at the end, you're like, oh my God, they fucking got me there.
But I was trying to figure out, because they do function very similarly, what is it about House of the Devil that works so much better for me than this one? And I just, it felt more authentic, I think. I think Stuckmann's slick. He knows how to build suspense, and they really shot the shit out of this movie. I mean, I think it looks excellent, but maybe that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a little
so
too
here's
polished.
the thing. House of the Devil, Ty West is one of our great working horror directors.
Sure.
You've got Tom Noonan, who's one of my favorite character actors ever. In that one, you also have Greta Gerwig's in there, right? So, like, the cast is exponentially better. But then you have this, I think the scene when Greta Gerwig's, like, waiting outside, and she's like, oh, I'll come get you, call me, or whatever. When she gets shot in the head and that car starts to roll, that feels like the midpoint of House of the Devil. So I think...
Right, it is.
I think it's the pacing of it, right? Because we do this long, like, walking through evidence that we already know the answers to.
And the other thing is the Jocelyn Donahue character, who's the main character in House of the Devil, she is late on the uptake of how much danger she's actually in. We know that she is.
Yeah.
And that's part of the suspense. With this film, we know the whole time, like, don't go in there. Why are you going in there?
Yeah,
You know?
there's no suspense. We know this is one of those, like, dour movies.
I guess that's the
that the
thing.
sister's not going to be in.
I guess that's the thing. There's not a lot of story suspense, but the craft of the filmmaking is presenting suspense. So it's almost like this synthetic anticipation.
Well, and in this one, you almost have to, like, reconcile everything in your own mind. It's like, oh, she's going to this, abandoned prison in the middle of the night because she's crazy, because she needs to find her sister. And it's like, you have to, like, do all this stuff in your head to have it make sense.
Yeah.
And so the suspense just feels like, oh, this is unneeded almost.
Yeah.
Like she shouldn't even be here.
Again, I think it works with the ending because it is this like the invisible occult hand moving
Right.
through.
Yeah,
And
that's a good point, too.
This lady's stuck. She cannot have her life. She does not want to have a kid. They're in that empty nursery. It makes sense that a person who's traumatized like this will make wilder decisions because this is the only way she's going to get her normal life back.
Yeah.
In a way, I don't think it matters to her if she finds her sister or her sister's dead body, something that ends this fucking never-ending misery that she's been suffering, right? That's become her personality, right? Which happens a lot of times in tragedy. So I think it made sense to me that she would go to that prison, right? Because I remember my son's like, what?
Why would you go there? And why would you go there at night? It's super creepy.
Yeah, you have no weapons.
Dude,
you
I
don't have
think
backup.
honestly, having the demon walk up behind her and put his hand on her shoulder is just a script writing hack genius. Because it's like, oh, he was controlling her the whole freaking time.
Is he a hack or a genius?
No, it's a script writing hack.
A hack.
It's like a fitness hack.
It's a hack for your script to be like, oh, everything could have been controlled by this demon.
Yeah.
He's been controlling her this whole time. You know?
Yeah, and again, I think the ending pays off that like lambs to the slaughter. To me, the other movie I kept thinking of a lot in the ending was Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
Right? Where that's another one where it feels like we mostly know exactly what's happening that whole movie. Again, I think it's a little more doled out to keep you more engaged, right? And it is like Rosemary's a little more like wide-eyed, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like her discovery process is more engaging. But I felt like it had a lot of that at the ending. Like as soon as we saw that baby, I knew exactly where this movie was going.
Yeah.
But I don't think in any way, like some movies you get ahead of it and you're like, ugh, and you have to like wait it out.
Yeah.
This one, as soon as I knew the baby was there and I knew what they were doing, I thought it really amped up my interest in the movie. Where I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm excited to see how this plays out.
Well, because you don't know how you feel either, because it's like, part of you's like, she probably should kill the baby. But then part of you's like, man, it's a baby. You know?
Yeah, no one wants to kill
No
a
one wants
baby,
to
and it was
kill
a
a
cute baby, but no second in that movie was I not like, they need to kill this fucking
See,
baby.
I was totally like, they did a good job of making me second guess. Because I was like, I know that this lady has been here for 15 years. I know that she knows what's up. She's the one you
They
should
had all
trust.
the cool little crosses in the front yard. Those were all babies they had lost.
You shouldn't trust the crazy documentary lady that's trying to find her sister. You should trust
So
the lady.
you think that she was still in a state of, is this really an occult thing? She literally sees her sister float up to the roof and get thrown around by invisible powers.
I know, but they did a good job of making you
It's like she's fighting Count Dooku. She knows this baby is evil.
But yeah, it wasn't enough, you know? Like you
She does the thing in the craft, like the Guardians of the North, the Guardians of the East. Like she's literally doing the scene from the craft.
Well, yeah, but
and then the lady's like, ah.
that scene was to prove that she wasn't insane, so that we were on her side fully. Like it is actually magic. There's some weird shit going on.
Well, I think that scene's also one of those like, hey man, you don't stop your sister from smothering that thing.
Yeah. Well,
that's not
too,
a baby. That's the end of the world, right?
I know, but it's a baby, so it's.
I
I'm just saying the
understand.
dichotomy of the image.
Antichrist comes in a form of a babe that we will let.
It's a hard choice,
our
and it's a great choice to end the movie on. I think. Yeah.
I don't think it's a hard choice. If Amy gets knocked up by a demon, rest assured, listeners, I will fucking end that
you're
thing
brutal.
for the good of all. I'm not. I'm soft. I'm a soft
You're
man.
soft.
Well, this was covered recently in The First Omen.
Yeah.
That's sort of how that one went. I don't
That's
think
like,
they,
yeah, the
they didn't
classic.
kill the baby on that one, did they?
Well, because the Satanist wanted the baby. The mom tries to hurt the baby.
yeah.
And then they get in the way and they let
But
it
wasn't that the weird one where the baby was like the 14th descendant of Jesus, so he was all
Right.
mangled looking anyways?
Well, no. So they had twins in the first Omen, right? There was a boy and a girl. The Satanist wanted the boy. That boy was then shepherded off to become Damien. And then the lady who had the kid, she stole the girl. And they're like, when they find this girl, they're going to come for you. The
And she was a
Catholic
nun.
Church or
She was
whatever.
working as a nun for all the years.
She was the nun.
All right, I remember that.
So that was the one where that baby became Damien. And if you've watched that series all the way up to Sam Neill, we should have killed that fucking
yeah,
baby.
you just stopped it
Yeah.
at the beginning.
And again, we need to stop calling them babies because that makes the audience think we're cruel. That ain't a baby.
They're
That's a
young
demon.
devils.
Yeah, they're young devils. Yeah, you got to handle that.
Yeah.
And I do think, because that's the thing I wanted in that scene where I think somewhere in that when I rewatch it, I'm sure there's the give, right? That when the lady's doing the ritual, that's when the demon latches on to the sister. So she is incapable of defeating this baby
Right.
because now she is in the service of, as we
Sure.
see in the end. I'm sure somewhere in that scene, that as I was watching the whole thing unfurl, I missed the moment where it made contact with her. And now she works for this thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think they were kind of setting it up to where maybe he was controlling her throughout her entire life.
Yeah, and that could be too. I don't know how because they didn't make. But she saw it when she was a kid. Remember, she slept in bed with her and she saw the thing.
Which makes me wonder why didn't he
That could
just
be the moment.
Why didn't he just have her have the baby? Was she infertile? Was that ever brought up?
Well, they talked about how they wanted to, but they never had a baby. I don't think they said it was infertility, but maybe.
Okay. Maybe that's what it was. Because I was like, why didn't he just have
That's
her?
kind of shitty. They're like, your sister's a little self-indulgent. She has an ego, but her womb works. No, you're just going to be the milkmaid.
Well, and obviously the demon's like, well, she's of no use to me. She's dead now. You're going to raise the child.
Can I say again, one other thing that, as much as I love the end of this movie, the final image of the sister crying as her sister is murdered and now she's going to raise the baby and the demon has his hand on her again and she screams. Fucking great horror imagery. I do think this is a stupid fucking plan by the demon.
Yeah.
Because that lady's been missing forever. It was a huge news story. Her coming back, we see it covered on the news. They found Riley Brennan. She was such a big deal. People were graffitiing it on delis and shit.
The baby's instantly famous.
So the week later, the family's going to come back. Hey, how's Riley? I don't know. I don't know. She's gone. Hey, is that a new window getting put in? And then all of a sudden, it's like if they do find her body, she's just been eaten by dogs.
Yeah.
So the woman who's been gone for so long, the whole world is excited. They found her. They're doing news stories. She disappears in one fucking day. And when the cameras come back, they're like, she's gone.
Oh,
they're
that's
not
a
going to be
huge
able to
news
raise
story.
that baby. The woman's going to be in fucking jail.
Yeah.
I think they staged it to be an accident, right?
Yeah.
Like the cracks in the glass.
No. It looks like an accident until they're like, hey, let's
then the dogs.
do the autopsy. And it's like, oh, dogs fucking mangled this lady's face? There's a pack of roaming
Well,
dogs in
at
this
the
suburb.
very
There
least,
might
it's
be.
not a covert raising of the Antichrist. Because that
Yeah.
kid's going to be super famous.
Yeah, that was one where I was like,
She's going to be super famous.
This is a dumb decision by the demon. The baby's famous. The mom's famous. She can't go missing the first night. I don't care how mystical the demon's power is. You can't assuage social media and the news to not be like, where's Riley again?
Hey,
They're going to go back to the graffiti tags and just spray paint
there's
again.
one thing, man. There's nothing in the Bible that says demons are smart.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
think this is a very dumb demon. He's
It's
a
a very
very
dumb
fucking
demon.
pussy-thirsty demon. Yeah. And he's making bad choices.
Yeah, I mean, what are the consequences? It's like, oh, well, hey.
He doesn't care.
I fucked up. That's on me. He's like Josh
bad.
Brolin in Weapons. Like, you got the paint wrong. Oh, that's my fuck up.
The demon's just upstairs. He's like, ooh, she's going to jail. She's like, no, I gotta
Ah,
change
shit.
diapers. Ooh, ooh, these dogs can't do anything for me.
They just start over. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he starts doing like his fucking Dracula fingers to the woman next door.
Yeah.
Now you will raise Riley.
You will. Yeah,
Or
exactly.
no, now Warren will do it, and he'll teach him how to be a pickpocket.
It's all
and
gravy
stuff.
for the demons.
That's what I mean. I mean, that's the thing. The gravy's only job is to make gravy, right? He's not worried about parenting, obviously. That's why he needs these ladies.
The demons.
That was a moment at the end, as much as I loved it, I was like, that's not going to work out. I was like, if that movie went on 10 more minutes, I was like, that lady's going to hardcore woman jail. Like, it's over.
Yeah, she's fucked.
Yeah, they're going to blame her for the whole thing. She's done. Mm-hmm. All right, any other thoughts before we move on?
I got 0.
All right, so Sam, now that you're devoid of thought, what's the most messed up moment in Shelby Oaks?
Oh, the most messed up moment for me is I have a fear of being eaten alive.
Me too. That's
Yeah.
my biggest fear.
So we can say this is officially a lie because when we were at the Atlanta Horror Film Festival, we went to a beautiful restaurant next door called Tebow's Daiquiri and Seafood. Sam and I were sharing a hookah and many fucking themed alcoholic concoctions. We're eating delicious food. These wonderful waitresses with gigantic long fake nails, the whole deal. They were great. All these women were gigantic, and all the busboys were very petite little men. And one time, Sam took a bite of his food. He leaned back in pure ecstasy, and he looked through the swinging doors, and he goes, if they wanted to take me back there right now and eat me bite by bite, I'm in. So he's
That's
not
different.
really that afraid of being eaten alive if it's by super hot women.
Yeah, that's totally
Conditional.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I was just trying to face my fears and get it out of the way. You know?
He's like,
Which
I'm
is
full-
sometimes
I'm
you gotta
full of
do
hookah
that.
and French fries.
In life,
I'm ready.
sometimes you just got to face your fears and go with it. But for this movie, the most messed up moment was when the camera crew, because I'm a big fan of the found footage portion of this movie, and when they started getting eaten by those wolves, like the idea that like, and it's so close and personal too. It's like he's filming, and then all of a sudden, like his arm gets bit, and he like shoots down, and his like flesh is hanging off. That did it for me. That was the most messed up moment.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted that on the record. That's neither here nor there. What was the most messed up moment in Shelby Oaks?
I'll take this one from you, Griffey. I think the inciting moment where the guy shoots
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
his brains out right in front of her. She's just trying to do a nice reflective interview for the documentary cameras.
I know.
Hold on, wait. There's someone at the door.
Might
Oh
be my Amazon order. Oops.
Yeah.
And what did he say? He said she won't let me
She
leave.
finally let me go.
Oh, she finally let me go.
Yeah. And also having been on a documentary crew like that, I can't really imagine witnessing that situation.
Some producer's just like, roll. Get it.
Yeah, exactly. The documentary has just changed.
Yes.
guys.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
like,
in
we're
real
about to
time.
get a huge fucking pay bump. Roll. Get those batteries charged. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest inciting moments in a horror movie I've seen all year. Fantastic.
Well done.
If I had to choose the most messed up moment in Shelby Oaks, I think I'm going to go when she finally finds her sister and she goes down into the basement. The creepy lady's leading her down there. We don't know what's going to attack her or not. The movie pauses and no one attacks her. And all we see is that she finds her sister. Her sister Riley's alive, but she could not fathom that she was still out there, right? She now has this fucking caveman. She looks like she's an extra in Korn, the musical, right? She's all fucking grody and she's like, Riley, I'm here to take you home. Come on, Riley. She's doing like a mom voice. And Riley just kind of looks at her despondent. And all Riley wants to do is find out where this fucking baby she was forced to have by a demon and this crazy lady in the woods is. Yeah. So that when they go upstairs, Riley, whose entire life was stolen from her, she was made to fucking have
And
all
she's
these
so
babies.
close to escaping.
Right. All these babies are taken from her. We see all the little crosses in the yard. All she can think about is getting upstairs to destroy this baby that she knows is a demonic force unleashed on the earth. And her sister being like, come on, we'll be all right. Come on, it's all going to be all right. And I think that was a beautiful character moment of this sister who's like, we can still have a happy ending. And as soon as we see Riley, we're like, oh no, there's no happy endings to be had in this movie. I thought that was beautifully done.
Nice.
Hey, I just had a thought that came to me. So I was impressed by the production design of that old lady's house with all the black mold. There was even like a really nice edit where we get, Mia? Is that it?
Yeah, Mia.
Her POV. And it's kind of like a long check up, like this tilt up the corner of the house once we're inside, evaluating the mold. What's the mold represent?
I think the mold is kind of these touched by the demon areas. Because they also had that
I
in the
thought that
jail.
too.
It was in the corner, like almost in the shape of the demon.
Okay.
So yeah, I took the black mold to be like touched by demonic forces.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a cool production design too, right? Just something to let us know something's off here. People shouldn't be here. Again, maybe I was romanticizing the movie because we had just fucking had a big shoot. But I thought for a first movie, I think this movie does infinitely more good than moments that do kind of like stumble for me.
Right.
And I think most filmmakers, if you're like, this was your first movie, would be fucking
Oh,
ecstatic.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is probably not up to par with most of the neon movies that have been coming out lately. But, I mean, still, we're talking about a $2 million movie, which half of which was crowdfunded.
Yep.
So, and first-time director, a guy who was a YouTube movie reviewer. I really thought he directed the hell out of this movie.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
Yeah, and again, that's the thing. It's like, this might not make a lot of year-end top 10 lists, this and that, but I just thought it showed a guy who really had a handle on a story that, again, I think a lot of first-time directors would go with a wilder story, right? More constant, like, giving us that hit at the bottle that we want.
Well, and he did a good job
it's a really controlled, fucking slow story that I thought pays off.
He showcased that he can do multiple different facets of filmmaking too. Like he can do the found footage genre, he can do the documentary, he can do the narrative, like, and it all looked good.
I think it's maybe more effective as a director reel than it is an actual theatrical experience.
Exactly.
I mean, it was a pretty threadbare story and pulled from a lot of other things that we've seen in other movies. I mean,
It's
nothing
kind of like
really
going
innovative.
to the bar and seeing like the greatest cover band. And
Right.
there's that thing, you're like 8 beers in and you're like, is this better than Queen? Like, is this better than Queen?
like it's pretty good.
And again, I just think it was an exciting movie, right? I will always wonder what the fully found footage version of this movie would be. But again, to your point, it's your first movie. Maybe you want to fucking flex nuts a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
And do all the different styles.
I do
like
not
you said.
think that's the movie he wanted to make. I think he made the movie he wanted to make. I think he wanted to be like Fincher light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, because he is of such notoriety, he gets to do that. I still think that the found footage would have given it that extra fucking bobsled effect.
You're right. I think it would have had more punch, more energy.
Yeah.
It did sag for me through most of it. But well executed for what he was given. I put that more on the story, the script, than the actual like execution of.
Yeah, the execution was
filmmaking.
great, and we've met Derek Mears multiple times at Days of the Dead. The sweetest guy ever, dude. Him in that Incubus, I could have used more of that too. He looked
for sure.
fucking incredible as that demon, man.
Yep.
I could have used more of that. But overall, a great movie. We hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Go to the theater to see this movie, right? Support horror movies when they come to the theater. Make sure you support our movie that will never be in a movie theater. Mr. Cream Jeans Hidey Hole. Go to Indiegogo, type in Mr. Cream Jeans because we've been shadow banned. You can even get a perk where you can join this very podcast to talk about a new movie, an old movie, or you can do a film festival draft of your choosing versus me, Sam, Heath, Dandino, Sophia, whoever you want. You can battle it out, right? Help us make our first movie and join the pod. That's a good time. Make sure you go to the Misfit Parade YouTube, subscribe there. Make sure you leave 5-star ratings and reviews everywhere you find the Messed Up Movies podcast. We're on all the socials you're on. We'll see you next time.